It only takes 3 days to manifest your specific person or to manifest anything for that matter. So you are much closer to your manifestation than you think. And if you think and know that you are deeply loved and cherished by your specific person, leave a thumbs up on this video. Now, you may have heard Neville Goddard discuss that idea that manifestation only takes 3 days. And the reason that they mention this is because Jesus, so the metaphor for who we are and our power, was died and resurrected 3 days later. So technically, we are always the 3 days away from our specific person. But I'll tell you this, that doesn't mean you actually have to wait 3 days to manifest your specific person. It can come instantaneously. The 3 days is actually just a metaphor of you getting into the state of being and having what you desire right here and right now. And I'll break it down for you guys because I don't think Neville Goddard ever talked about this in detail, just that it would take 3 days to manifest whatever it is that you want. Because I actually had a lot of people comment on my videos or ask me in my coaching sessions of, you mentioned a bit, Kyle, and maybe you're thinking this right now. You're like, well, Kyle, you talked about time not existing. So how come Neville Goddard said that it takes 3 days to manifest anything, including our specific person? But the 3 days, as I mentioned, are a metaphor. And on the first day, what happened on the first day? So on the first day, Jesus was crucified, right? So death happened, right? And that is the death of our previous state. So the 3 days are kind of like 3 steps to manifesting whatever you want. And this could be the next 3 days right here and right now, depending on how you want to do this. So the first day was the death. So the metaphor is completely dying to our previous state. Okay, so that means no longer identifying with the feeling of being single, with the feeling of being lonely, with the feeling of not having what you want. That's always step one. Okay, getting rid of, letting go of, and not identifying with that version of you anymore. So that's day one. And we always want to begin there. And I can't tell you how often that is always the first step in my coaching sessions or to anyone to achieve or create whatever it is that they want. Death of the old state, which I know sounds kind of harsh, but it is. We do need to lose sense of that previous self because it's not doing us any good where we want to go. The second day, so this in-between state, is then metaphorically where Jesus arrived and went back to the Father, right? So it's going within and finding that abundance, or finding, basically for us, that's finding what is making you or having you feel in your end state, okay? So that's finding the feeling, finding the belief, becoming that individual. So right now, that would be like techniques of affirmations, visualizations, journaling, basically getting into the feeling as if you already have what you want. So in the case of the Jesus metaphor, Jesus is going back to the higher state or the higher power. You are sitting back in your power and getting back on your throne, understanding who you truly are, that you are literally everything and can have everything. And that is the second day. And again, you could choose to have these in the next 3 days, right? Stop identifying with yourself, step one. Start to identify with your new state and do things that align you with the end or finding that power. And then what happened on the third day? This one is, now that you guys know of it as a metaphor, makes a lot more sense. The resurrection. So that's you fully becoming, living, and being who you are in your end state. So that's you fully realizing, becoming, seeing you and your specific person together in your reality. You become resurrected to a new version of yourself. The old past or the old portion of you is completely gone. And this in-between state where you are learning or becoming is also over, and you are now fully alive and awake in your end state, as if you are, or basically in this case, in the metaphor, you will then have achieved what you want on this third day, because you are now the thing that you wished. You are now loved by your specific person. You are now in the perfect relationship. You are now destined and creating the life that you want with your specific person. And that's how we can manifest in 3 days. But again, remember, that doesn't mean that you can't have instantaneous manifestations, because even in this metaphor think of even what Neville Goddard would say, that it takes 3 days to manifest. We've all, whether it's something really small like a pen or something really big like $1 million, we've all manifested really quickly, really fast. Then it was faster than 3 days. And that's why people were asking me this in coaching sessions, or like the huge Neville Goddard fans were like, why, what does this mean? Like, why did he say this? But I manifested a pen 2 seconds ago, instantaneously. How does that? I didn't have to wait 3 days for this pen. But the trick is the 3 steps of achieving and getting to your manifestation. That is what is important in this aspect. And again, this could happen instantly, because sometimes think of the concept like, let's say manifesting the pen or something that's really instantaneous. The previous version of yourself, so step 1, dying to old state, the idea of yourself not having a pen is probably something that you don't necessarily have a lot of emotional attachment to, right? So the death of the old version of yourself without the pen, easy, right? The second one would then be and if it's something like this, it's usually something that we find very easy to imagine and accept. So if you're like, I want a pen for even a second, this probably doesn't seem very difficult to you, right? So instantly your mind accepts it, right? You're like, okay, boom, I got the pen. Why can't I have this pen? Here you go, take it, right? So it's like, it's something very easily accepted. And then boom, we get the pen. The third day is that, oh my gosh, someone comes up to you, hey, here's that pen that you wanted, right? And then that's the full realization of that. So the main aspects that I've always found in manifesting a specific person is 1, the complete, not disregard, but no longer an acceptance of your previous state. That's usually something that a lot of us, maybe you've ever experienced in your life, that we have a hard time doing or letting go of, because we identify so intensely with it. Or we go into our manifestation, especially if you're manifesting someone you've been with before, we identify with it really heavily because we're trying to manifest something from the past. But you've heard me say this before, you're not manifesting your specific person from the past. You are creating a new relationship with them. So that's usually, people get stuck on step 1 when they're trying to relive the past. You're not trying to relive the past, right? It's the same person, but you are trying to create a relationship that I would say that you've never had with them, because if you did, we wouldn't be manifesting it, right? So that's step 1 and the main thing people struggle with initially. And then step 2 is also something that we sometimes, feel that we struggle with. And this is only because it's all about the frequency. I mentioned in a previous video, the frequency at which we're entering into the state is the most important thing that we can do. So we need to know that we need to feel it. We need to live it. And again, in this circumstance, if you don't instantly feel it or get it, that's okay, right? That is perfectly fine. You don't have to instantly get it. And sometimes it's super disempowering to think or make yourself feel like you have to, because then you're just going to be talking bad about yourself. Like, why can't I feel this now? Something's wrong with me. No, nothing is wrong with you. You are doing fine. You wouldn't start playing the guitar and expect on day one to be a master, right? And you would be very, like, that would be super disempowering to try to instantly know or have anything instantly, which we can manifest instantly, but it's a weird paradox where when you're patient with yourself, you move a million times faster. So if you are like very patient with yourself on day one, let's say learning guitar, and you're patient with yourself, your learning is exponential. But when you're and so then tomorrow you could be a master, right? And you're going to excel beyond the person who's really difficult or angry with themselves for not being the best. You are the best. It's just that we have to feel into the state of it. And that's okay if it takes a little bit of time. So don't beat yourself up. And then the third day again, easy. That's you living your dream, resurrected as this new version of you. You're good to go. And that's actually, I should almost make another video on this, because your third day, so your resurrection, is the day that you're good. Like everything, you don't have to do more work. If you are something, you don't have to be something in the same way. So once you reach day 3 and you've done it, you don't have to keep working for your manifestation. It's done. Your internal state has changed. There's nothing left to do. That's it, right? And so that's what we want to focus on, because people have asked me, how do I continue to feel into my end state? How do I keep my specific person? But that question only can come from someone who doesn't get it, right? If you know that you are the thing, the concept of keeping it doesn't add up. Like, think of your name. You never ask yourself, how can I keep being named Kyle? You're not asking, well, maybe your name's probably not Kyle, but if you're probably not asking that about your name, right? Why would you, right? What's the point of asking? You already know who you are and you're going to be that way. And maybe you start thinking like, oh yeah, things that I am, I never asked that about. So when in day 3, you're done. You don't have to do anything extra. You're done. You can just come, once you do it, you can just watch our videos for fun, right? Just comment, oh my gosh, this is awesome, blah, blah, blah. Say whatever you want on the videos. Tell us your awesome stories, things like that. But let me know in the comment section below if you guys like this idea about manifesting in 3 days and how really it can happen even much faster than that if you basically put these metaphorically into an hour, into a day. Whatever, or maybe it takes a week. That's okay too, right? It's going to be the same process for a week, a month, a year. But remember, accept the time that you want. If you don't want it to take a year, it doesn't have to take a year, right? It's all about our assumptions and our beliefs. But leave comments down below, just telling your thoughts. A comment down below, that affirmation at the beginning, you are deeply cherished and adored by your specific person. If you did want to send me a personal question, head over to kyleaugustcoaching.com and go to the contact tab and you can reach me directly. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. I absolutely had so much fun with this idea. I hope you enjoyed it as well, and I'll see you in the next video tomorrow.